Greetings YouTube and welcome back to my channel, Queen Tasha TV. In this video, I'm going to share the real story behind why I became a YouTuber. So stick around because I'm going to share what I did to grow my channel, the plateau burnout that has kept me from being consistent, and why it means so much for me to continue. So let's get into it. Greetings and welcome to Queen Tasha TV. I'm Queen Tasha and I invite you to join me as I share my RV adventures, nomadic lifestyle tips, sustainable living practices, and vibrant Black Travel Tribe meetup highlights. A new edition will be diving into sharing my reignition of music and dance journey and my intuitive guidance to inspire and empower other queens. Together, let's live fearlessly free and reign supreme. Like, comment, and subscribe. Welcome to the Empire. So, before I get into my YouTube journey and what I've learned, I first have to take you back to why I even have a love for making videos in the first place. It really started out back in the late 1900s. It's like, just kidding. In the 80s and 90s. With music videos. I've always kind of been fascinated with film and movies and conspiracy theory movies and things like that, but my passion for like wanting to make films came from music videos. Like, if you know from back in the day, music videos used to be good. If you are a child from the 2000s, they're trash now, but back in the day, they were like mini movies that they spent lots of money on to make, and they told the story visually either through dancing and great cinematography or through like storytelling through the lyrics of the music. And I was fascinated by this. And Janet Jackson, she was my dance inspiration, but her and her brother in the late 80s and 90s was like ruling the scene when it came to music videos. Like, they spent like lots of money on these videos, and the dancing was just it was magnificent. And then when Missy Elliott came on the scene, oh my gosh, like Missy Elliott is like the GOAT of music videos still to this day. But yeah, and then MTV back in the 90s, I can't remember exactly when, but in the 90s, there was a show that they had. They always wanted to show the behind the scenes because people became fascinated with behind the scenes, and that's how the birth of reality TV came, because people wanted to see what was going on, when you were making stuff. So there was a show called Making the Video, and they would show the behind the scenes of how they made the video, and then they premiered the video at the end. And I fell in love then. And in the late 1900s, in the late 90s, my family finally acquired a video camera, and it was like a video camera that had like the screen, and then there was like, it was kind of fancy for for us at that time, but it was a cute little video camera. We got it because I needed to record some audition tapes for dance scholarships and stuff. But when we got it, we started going ham. Like, we would record little videos of my little brother and sister at the time who were doing hilarious stuff. My little brother loved to like learn choreography, and he was like 2 and 3 years old, and he would learn choreography from our dance videos or videos on TV, and then he would like sing and we would video it, and it was hilarious. It's still funny to this day. And I recorded a couple little things. I just became fascinated with music and cinematography. So that's kind of how the birth of like the idea of, or the fascination for making film. At that point, I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna be a filmmaker, but I definitely had a desire and passion to and fascination like with the whole process. High school, my passion for dance actually grew more than my passion or love or fascination for filmmaking. I had a lot of things that I had a passion and desire for to learn more about. And I wish there was mentors around at that time that could have molded me, because I feel like I should have been a scientist or like a computer scientist. That would have served me better at this point, but we will go back in time one day and see what that's like. But anyways, I digress. So my love for dance took over, and I ended up going to school for dance. Cut to after graduating, I ended up going and working on a cruise ship and had a whole fun time. That's how I grew the travel bug. But after that, I really wanted to go back to school. I felt like, I mean, that was what a lot of people were doing at the time. And I had a desire to go, and I was like, what could I do? And I wanted to go to film school. I was like, I still have this passion to do this. And I really like was in it. I had done the research. I found New York Film Academy and Full Sails. It was New York Film Academy and Full Sails. And they had locations throughout the country: Florida, New York, California. And at that time, I really wanted to come out to California, go out to California still. The New York Film Academy had a branch there. So like I was like, let's do this. And I looked up all that went into the financing. You know, when I first got financing for school, I didn't really understand the process of what entailed of like signing your name to student loans and getting grants and free money and how that whole process worked. It kind of just worked out, and I didn't know until after the fact that the whole process is designed to screw you. But I just assumed that, you know, with people going back to school, you know, if you go back and get another degree or whatever, that you could get more money. And that's not the case. Like, you take on more student loans, which at that time I didn't qualify to get more student loans. And I didn't want to take on any more student loans. So that dream kind of went dead in the water. And I went on to do other things. A lot of dreams went dead in the water at that time, around that time. And I, you know, went deep into the corporate world. I went deep into just life and exploring other things that were not my passions. So, cut a couple more years into the future when I discovered YouTube, which I want to say was like the late 2000s, like 2010, 2011. I had cut the cord from cable at some point, and that led me to find other free resources, which I did a lot of like free movie stuff. You know, I can't remember the names of the stuff. I can put them up on the screen, but I did a lot of that. And then I discovered YouTube, and I discovered YouTube in its like early years when there was like no ads. Like, that was a fun time. um and it was just people at the time really not worried about making money. Like, it was really people expressing their creativity. And the stuff that I watched in the early years of YouTube were people doing funny skits. You know, this was around the time that Vine was coming into play, when it was like they were trying to cut our attention span to microseconds. But it was just people just really just doing funny skits. But I was still really interested in dance, so I watched a lot of people doing choreography to songs at that time. And at that time, that, you know, the copywriting was still very blurry, and a lot of people, but I watched, like, I think his name is Mike Stefano. I'll put his name up and put a little clip. But his early years of just like his classes and him learning dance, I watched a lot of choreographers just recording their classes and showing the students from their class and the choreography they did to for them to build up their profile. Like, at that time, it was really just a space where you could show your work in a public place. And That's what I really would watch, was a lot of dance videos and then videos, you know. And then also that's when I kind of got into lifestyle and vlogs. So somebody that I still watch now, which I've been watching for probably 10 years. They've been doing it for 10 years and now they have 2 kids. They're on a third boat. But La Vagabond, shout out to La Vagabond. Sailing La Vagabond, I've been watching them like since their first boat. And they've been on YouTube for 10 years, and that's wow. And I've watched some other people like Evelyn from the internet and obviously Skylife. Um, and you know, I just got into YouTube as a main source of entertainment. And I envied everybody. Like I was like, oh, like at the time, you know, my heart and passion still wasn't into oh, let me make it. But I was just like, wow, these people are just taking out their phones and their cameras and just, you know, making videos. I think it was later on when I found out people can make money from it, where I was like, oh, wait. I could do that. I got some things that I can do that, you know, I feel like I could do it. And, you know, I just never had the courage to do it. You know, there's a lot of you know, being an introvert, and you know, I'm a Leo, so I love the attention, but you know, when it comes to setting up something to actually film yourself, like you have to have a lot of courage to like do that. And I did not have the courage to like film it, or if I did film it, to actually like post it and put it out there. Now I know about YouTube, and I've been on following YouTube for years, and as this is happening, I also learned a lot about the RV life world through YouTube University. The YouTube University was such a helpful resource in learning about RV life, but also seeing people's adventures and seeing how people lived in vans and RVs and just nomadic culture in general. I really got fascinated with that. I mean, I started my tiny house RV life, you know, journey through cable TV, like, you know, the HGT shows, and that's another story for another day. But I learned a lot on YouTube University. So the colliding of those two lives kind of happened at the same time, and I started my RV life journey in a 34-foot Winnebago adventure. And the first year of RV life, you know, I wasn't recording anything. I mean, I took a few pictures and here and there and maybe a couple little clips and things. And at the end of living in the first RV, which was a little less than a year maybe, and that's when I was like, you know what, I should probably be recording some of this to, you know, document my RV life. You know, I was watching people, you know, stories, and I was like, oh, they're telling their stories, but you know, I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just trying to figure it out. I was using YouTube as a resource to learn, and not like, oh, maybe I should tell my story. Like, who cares? Like, that's what I was like, nobody cares about what I'm doing in my RV. It wasn't until I bought my second RV and painted it purple and saw the attention that I was getting from that RV and just loving the process. You know, I filmed the whole process. I definitely was intentful about filming the whole process of me like getting the RV and painting it and you know, getting it ready to live in, because I did want to share that. Like I started to get in the mindset of like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. I should probably like, you know, document this at least for my own sake. And but I held on to that for a couple of months, that footage, before I really had the courage to put a video together. I was kind of waiting for like that optimal moment to like film it. But I wanted to do a tour video. So finally got up the courage to do a tour video. And it was a tour video that I did, which was definitely a learning curve of learning how to like set up the camera and where to get angles and all of that. The lighting was terrible. If you watched the video, the music was too loud. It was a lot going on, and I didn't know about how to use the copywriting rules for music. It was a whole thing. But I put together a video that I thought was a masterpiece, and skip to 2020, when we were all locked in the house, ish. Um, and I had my moment. I had my moment to put it together because at that time I was living life, surviving, and I had no time to make videos or anything like that, or even think about doing that because I knew at that time that the process to get money was gonna from it was gonna be a whole long process, and you know, I wasn't ready to take on that. But when, we were all out of work and stuck in the house, I was like, hey, this is my perfect opportunity to do this. So let's film some stuff. I put the video together, boom, 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 put it out. And if you look on my channel and scroll back, you'll see a video before that video. So I did have a little courage in the first RV, but I tried not to show my face too much. It was a recipe video for making vegan jackfruit curry, I think it might have been. There's a little clip at the end of me eating and enjoying it or whatever, but I didn't show myself. It was really me making the video. I was like, I could have a channel where I could be faceless. This was me not having the courage to want to do it just yet, but I was like, I can make videos. Like, I got this. And I had no idea how the YouTube was gonna treat the video or what. First couple days, it was just a few people that I sent it to, and then over time it grew. So basically, that's how I started my YouTube channel. The panini allowed me to have the time and money, because we got that panini check at some point and waiting on it and knowing that it was coming, that allowed me to have the courage and also the time to start my YouTube channel. And that's how it took off. So now I want to get into a little bit on how, I grew my channel, the formula in a sense of what I use, not a full story. If you guys are interested in like all of that, I'm not the one to tell you. But if you do want to know from me more in detail, I can get more into detail in another video. So just comment below if you're interested in my YouTube expertise. But so basically the formula in which I use YouTube University, I watched a lot of videos on anybody who was current within the last year of that time, that had any tips or tricks on how to grow a YouTube channel. And what I learned from them was, one, Facebook groups. So I got into any and all Facebook groups that were about women, follow for follow, women YouTube channels, RV channels, nomadic channels, anything that said YouTube. I joined. They didn't ask too many questions. And through those groups, you do have to have the time to be engaging in these groups, because it is a process. It's not just like go in the groups, drop your link. I mean, some of those groups are for that, but you do need to be engaging. And again, the panini allowed me to have the time to be engaging. So every day I went in the YouTube groups, put my link in there, put it in the thing. And what you're doing, the way you're being engaging, is because you have to, it's not just drop your link. These groups are a community for everybody to grow. So you have to engage as well. So I went and watched a couple people's videos. Some were trash. Some are pretty good that I still follow and watch now to this day. But most of them are trash. But we were all trash at the beginning. We're all trash in the beginning. and watch a couple minutes, like it, leave a comment, subscribe. And when you do that, you take a little screenshot, you post it, and then people will do that for you. Once everybody sees that you're doing it for them and they're doing it for you, then everybody starts growing a little bit here, and there. And that is the strategy. That and really pressing in on the DMs. Like, I bother people in their DMs. I don't know if everybody else does, but that was a strategy that somebody mentioned. You can post it on your Instagram and your stories and your feed, but you're leaving it up to the algorithm to spread the word. And if algorithm is trash, like, why doesn't it just show it to all the people that I see? Like on Facebook, the early algorithm of Facebook, like, I saw every single person, and it's still like that to this day. I mean, not everybody likes, because you're seeing so much, but on the feed, like, I see everybody's shit. You know what I'm saying? But I just DM'd it to people. When I had the link for a new video, or at the beginning, I just had a few videos, I was just sending it to people, new people that I knew. I was using the groups, and that's really how I grew my channel, is through that way. And I was just patient, and slowly by slowly, the video picked up because people were watching it in bulk. So that sent it out to the algorithm for suggestions and stuff like that. I would suggest it under my good friend, Vanna May, who also did RV Life, young black girl who was doing RV Life. Her channel took off. She wasn't super consistent. She's not consistent now, but she still does YouTube when she wants. And I was suggested under her for a while. And so when people were watching her video, they were coming to watch me because it was another black girl in an RV, and my RV was purple. I actually got to meet her, and we hung out, and we're still friends to this day. But yeah, so I was suggested under her for a while, so my video blew up because of that. So thank you to her for that. Us black girls representing for RV Life at that time. So yeah. And then on top of everybody being in the house during the panini and just consuming content on like a more massive basis than they ever had before, that also helped. So if you want to grow your channel, let's hope for another panini. Just kidding. So yeah, that's one thing that I learned and that I used to get my channel to monetization, because that was the point for me. In the beginning, it was definitely about sharing my story and being another face, being a black face. If you watch my early videos and in my intro, when I finally did make an intro, I did say another, to put a young black face to this live, because, the few people that were sharing it, didn't look like me. And, I wanted to be another person. And then a bunch of us all emerged. Now, during that time, what happened is what I call the YouTube claw. And if you know anything about the claw arcade game, you have control over it to an extent, but we all know it's rigged. There's a bit of control that you do not have. So it goes and it plucks. It plucked all of us young black girls that were doing some type of nomadic life. There was RV, bus, and van people that were doing it all the time, that we all kind of emerged during the beginning of the panini. We either emerged, or the YouTube claw all gave us a spotlight. So the black nomadic culture kind of blew up at that time, and I got to be a part of that. Unfortunately, when it did pick me up and it brought me over, so I dangled a little bit up here where it's like, oh, you could shine for a little bit. But when it came down to really like popping, it did not drop me into the little slot where I can collect all of the goods. But I did stay in there enough for it to pick me a couple times, for I have a couple different blow up videos throughout that time. Again, thanks to the panini a lot, because my start started during 2020. So A lot of the videos that I have in the early beginning, trash, but not that trash, but they got a lot of views in that time. And I don't think it had anything to do with the SEO that I was doing, because I still was learning about that. I think it was just at that time what it was showing to the world was there was black girls in RVs and nomadic life, and here's the few doing it. So but yeah, the getting to monetization, I think from the time that I posted that first video, which was in April, it was April 19th, 2020, I monetized my channel by, I want to say, like June, July. And that was just consistency of like posting stuff. Like I started posting my adventures at that time, shortly after Panini started, and then everything kind of reopened back up. I left. I was like, I'm taking this money and I'm going on the road trip of my life, okay? Like, fuck what you heard. Some people, did their business, put it into their business. Some people, invested in their home. I invested in the road trip of my life, okay? And I documented that because I had the time and I had the space and I had the desire and I had the drive. And in the beginning, you have to be consistent, putting out videos regularly. I think I tried to do, at first, I tried to do like 2 a week, and then I realized I could really only do like 1 a week. And in the beginning, I used the laptop I had, my phone. I did have like a little video camera that I busted out every once in a while. It was like an old school video camera, but for the most part, I film most of the stuff on my phone. I got a couple cool little selfie sticks that helped, but I kept it real cheap and basic and minimal, which is what I recommend. I've upgraded stuff as I've gone. I'm still probably in the tiers of upgrade, low, medium, high. I'm probably still in here. I've got the ring light now. I got a couple different tripods. I have a couple different camera options. I still do use my phone now. I have this. I've had many, many versions of this type of thing that have not survived. So we'll see how long this survives. It's still on. It probably might cut off. Hopefully it's got enough charge to keep going. I did have my little blow up moment in YouTube, and I had my growth moment, but I've got to the plateau burnout moment, where my channel has been in the 8,000 range for probably 2 of the 4 years that I've been on YouTube. That's mainly because I got burnt out, like once reality set back in, after the Panini money got dried up, and I had to go back to figuring out, how to make money with outside of that. Because YouTube, I did monetize my channel, and when I first got my first check, it was like, oh, hey, that's a nice little check. But after that, it definitely sloped off. I knew that I could not rely on YouTube as an income source. So, and then also once I noticed the fluctuation of how the algorithm was treating my videos, and still trying to figure out how to tweak it, and not really knowing how the system is working and why it's working in the way that it's working. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you put in a lot of time. Being a YouTuber is not for the weak. You put in a lot of time being the producer, the director, the actor, the sound, the videographer, the editor, the distributor, the marketer, all of those jobs for one video, per video. You get burnt. Everybody on YouTube gets burnt out at some point when you have all those jobs and you do all of that, and the YouTube claw doesn't select you for success. It may select you for a couple of tokens, but it doesn't select you for success. So you can't live off of your YouTube money, but you are putting in the amount of hours that somebody who is the CEO of a company should be making way more. You feel me? And when you have that realization, especially if you're doing it for monetization reasons, you know, it's not just like, oh, I just want to share my story into the world, you know. When you do have that as an intention, it wasn't my only intention, but it was definitely an intention, you know, you get burnt out because the return on investment of your time to make a video to the money you get, ask any YouTuber, it's not worth it. In most cases, it's not worth the money. So you need to have another reason why you are making videos, because the burnout will happen. And when the burnout happens, you quit. You basically quit. You basically are just like, fuck this. So you're like, I don't want to do it. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to put all the effort into it to make sure that it does make money. And even that, because sometimes the YouTube algorithm picks your worst video to get the best views, and it doesn't pick the video that you put the most effort into, the most money into. If you spend a little money to do it, it doesn't pick that video for whatever reason. Ask anybody, any YouTuber, they will tell you that some of their worst videos are their most viewed videos in their eyes. So yeah, I got burnt out, and that led to a lot of inconsistency. And when I did finally decide to say, okay, I'm gonna come back and share my story, but I know it's not gonna be consistent because my heart's not in it and I have to survive. And I know that the time that it takes to make these videos is not gonna allow me to do the things that are gonna allow me to eat. So I'm gonna just do it as a passion project and a hobby, and share the things that I want to share, and not feel obligated to record every single adventure that I do when I go out of the house, or when I go in my RV somewhere, or go out of my RV and do something fun, like not feeling obligated to video all of that and just live in the present moment. Like, I got to that point. That was still an inconsistent point. So, the algorithm was definitely not treating me nice. So for the last 2 years or so, that's what it's been. In my vision journal, Queen Tasha TV has always been at the forefront of my mind. It's something that I want to continue to do. And through this whole process, I've discovered that I have a love for editing and music scoring of my videos, which is why I pay for Epidemic Sound and just like tell the story and have you be jamming out and having some good tunes. And I learned that I love that process. The videography process is not my jam. Like, having to stop my life to set up production, I lose the creative juice. I get frustrated, and then I lose the creative juice. If I get frustrated from doing any of that part. Or it's like, it would be so much easier if somebody was filming me, because in an RV, trying to set up little spots to get the right angle and the right lighting, when you're just trying to like cook or show something or open something or do something, it's a whole thing. And a lot of my videos have terrible lighting because of that. Because it's not that I don't care, that I'm not aware of it. Like, if I'm gonna stay in the mojo of wanting to even share this, the production goes out the window. And I realized that that's not my thing. When I got a chance to make a video with Sky, I got to be in the video and see the behind the scenes of how her production process is, and how easier it is to be able to be present and all about a video when you have somebody else filming it. And I've talked about this for years, since that we did that video. When I come across people, I'm like, I would probably be a better YouTuber if I had the money to have just a videographer follow me around with a camera, because I'm hilarious and I have great content all the time. I just don't have time to be the videographer every time. And getting to be a part of that process and see her be the director and make sure the sound was right, and having the videographers like just do their thing, and she trusts that they are going to capture the best possible, version of what she's looking for, you know, seeing that, just I envy that, because I love the editing process. So I want to continue to learn more about editing and music and sound and stuff like that goes into that. But I love that part. The other part that I don't like is the distribution marketing part, like having to promote the video. That's a whole nother thing. But I love the editing part of it, and that's my piece. That's what kind of holds me in, because that ties back to my fascination from my childhood, like being fascinated with how they were making music videos, like the behind the scenes, and adding the music to, or not adding the music, but having the music tell the story of the video, and what you're seeing on the screen is just like what I love and what I still love. And that's why I enjoy editing and music scoring. That all ties back now to where I'm at with my YouTube channel. I am 4 years plus years into my YouTube channel. My main focus, or my main drive for the channel, was birthed through sharing my RV life story and my tips and tricks and adventures and all of that stuff that goes with that, to the people that are enthused to watch it, which was somebody like me, in my early days. So I'm going to continue to share that on my channel, and empower my community, especially the Black nomadic community who is doing this, to see somebody like me teach them the same things that maybe another creator might teach, but it's coming from somebody that looks like them. So that's what I want to continue to be a driving force on my channel, because that is my community. That is the majority of the people that watch me, and that's who came in the beginning of my YouTube channel. So I want to continue to support and foster that community. But my real passion is in sharing my creative expression through music and dance, visuals, and that's where I've had the most fun on my channel. I've only experimented a little bit on my channel with like music and fashion, or music and dance. I've had a couple little dance breakout moments in a few of my videos. And then I've also had dedicated videos where I dressed up and I either, just did a little fashion show, but I like made sure the music like matched the vibe of like the clothing and the vibe of like what I was just like trying to exude in that energy. And I had those videos I had the most fun making. And then I also decided to mix Epidemic Sound and Canva Pro, because once I discovered that Canva Pro has, they have video clips that you can use that are copyright free, that there's a lot of on there. If you like type in like dance or anything, like I was able to create 10 videos, 10 little mini videos, and I want to say 8 of those videos I used mainly on Canva. The 2 of the videos I used mostly my own footage of stuff, but I want to say 8 of the videos I used all Canva clips, and I just played around with like pulling the clips together and matching it to the music. And like, though that video, it's a video on my channel, I think it's like Epidemic Sound playlist or something. I need to play with the titles. I haven't done an audit on like playing with the titles of the thumbnails, which I need to do. But that video of many videos was like an experiment on my channel to like, share that creative expression. And I've been wanting to share more of that, especially with my own dance journey, because I am a dancer and I want to get back into, really moving, but also expressing and sharing and showing off my talents and my joy for dance. So, um, yeah, that's what's coming on my channel because that's what I really want to share. That's what I really have the desire and passion to share. And that's what my inner child really wants to express. So that's where I'm going with my channel, on a split note. So I'm hoping that everybody will follow along and you're here just because. And I've asked my few, ride or dies on my channel, like, what do you want to see on my channel? And they're just like, whatever you want to show us. So I'm just like, all right, here we go. So despite like trying to figure it out on YouTube, like, and, finally detaching from the whole like monetization dream or goal of my channel being successful in that way, and it still has potential to be successful in that way, but not like putting all of my focus and drive and energy into that that affects my creative expression. So releasing that uh, expectation has allowed me to finally like want to come back and be more consistent with YouTube. But also some of the reasons that I continue to make content is like the testimonials that I've gotten from people in person, through my comments, through emails. I've had people tell me that they started RV Life because they saw me doing it. I've had people say, "Oh, I've learned so much from you. I do this, that, and the other, because I saw it on your channel or whatever." There's people that saw me, was inspired through my channel, and then we met in real life either through like a friendship or they just happened to catch me on the street, and they told me something that inspired them, or just seeing me do it just brings a smile to their face. Seeing the purple RV just brings a smile to their face. When I was ready to sell the purple RV, I was able to sell it to a subscriber. Shout out to Queen Janine for seeing it in the divine timing of both of our lives, of me ready to release and her ready to receive something, and us both being purple fanatics. I explored and was able to capture so much of my exploration because I wanted to share it on YouTube. And YouTube has become a digital library, for like a digital library or like a time capsule in the future for like my life. My life story is told through video. This part of my life, is told through video, and I've shared it with other people who is inspired, and also I get to look back on it. I go back and watch my videos here and there, not all of them, but I go back and watch definitely the ones that were the most fun to make or that inspired me the most. One of my favorite videos on YouTube about me is the one that Sky made. I go back and watch that video anytime I'm down, because listening to my words, the way she told that story was incredible. I cry at the end every time. And it's just amazing me that when I watch it, it's like, it's weird watching it because it's like, that's me. I said those things, and she captured it and put it in such a way that just like, it's so beautiful. Like, I watch it all the time. I tell people about it all the time. I don't even tell people about my channel and the videos on my channel. That's like my favorite video of myself, is the video from Sky. And I love that about YouTube, and I love that about making content and sharing it on the internet. So as I reflect on why I became a YouTuber and the story behind, my fascination for content creation and video making, I continue to be inspired by the process. And I recently, have been taking a course through one of my favorite YouTubers, Skylife, who is now sharing her wisdom and guidance through her own version of like an influencer YouTube, course, and it's called the Soul Creator course. Shout out to her for putting this together and putting this community together. The community is so supportive. I'm probably one of the oldest people in the whole group, just in general. But I've learned so much from, and I'm really enjoying getting to know a lot of the people there. We're all there for essentially the same purpose, which is to enlighten humanity through our creative gift that we have to share with the world. And that has reignited my passion and love and joy for it. It's definitely been challenging, you know, doing anything that's a concentrated like boot camp thing. It's an 8-week curriculum, but it's a 1-year course that's going to continue on having live workshops and things like that. But it definitely gave a super boost, like when you take a shot of anything, coffee, alcohol, anything. It's given a super boost of confidence and motivation, desire, creativity. It's definitely boosted all of that, so that my comeback is coming back with a new perspective and a new drive. And I've learned so much about myself through the process and my brand, and just getting the behind the scenes, the inside the brain of Sky. You know, I did get to experience it firsthand, you know, years ago when we made that video, but seeing how the process breaks down and how she's gotten to where she is and what she's learned, and she's sharing that back with her community, is amazing. And I'm so glad to be a part of it. Yeah, and it's just given me a newfound refreshness for my channel, so that I have clarity on who it is that's watching, where I'm going, and what I'm going to share. And I'm ready for the adventure to continue and get greater and bigger and more fun than it's ever been. But that's all I have to share. I hope you enjoyed that story. I hope that you learned something about how I got here and where I'm going with my channel. And I'm not going anywhere, at least not anytime soon. I'm hoping that YouTube has a sister at some point where it's just for conscious creators and we can separate ourselves from the rest of the trash. The Gaia of YouTube, as I say. And we can all be there doing what we love and not have to fight for space with other different types of creators. But until that happens, I am here on Queen Tasha TV. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and blessings.